Hi, welcome to my blog. I'm Ron Schmid, aka Dr. Ron, and this is our welcome video for the blog. My staff has put together some questions that they thought that you might have about why we're doing this and what the videos are like and how it's organized, and they've given them to me on index cards. The first one, what value does what you have to say have for me? Who wrote that? No. Well, that's, in other words, why are you here at this blog and what do you want out of it? What can we give you? I mentioned in the welcome on my Facebook page that having been a naturopathic doctor for 30 years, seen a lot of patients, I don't practice much anymore, and I'd like to really make available the information that I used all through that time to help people get well. I think I have some unique understanding of nutrition and its relationship to healing. So the value that it could have really is I think you can use these videos and the information on the blog to really understand what I've learned about how to heal with food and a few key supplements and use it in your own life. I hope to great value. So hopefully that answers that question. If anybody has any follow-up, please feel free to chime in. So the next question, let's see. When did nutrition become the #1 interest in your life? Well, it certainly wasn't when I was young, real young. Actually, there is a little story that goes with this. I was sitting in a doctor's office when I was 24 years old, and he explained to me, a perfectly nice guy, but he explained to me that the best way for me to get over my rather severe intestinal problems was to kind of contribute half of my colon to medical science to the tune of 8 or 10 grand. I thought I was a little young for that. I remember it was the 60s and I was pretty involved in music then, and the words of an old song kept running through my head. Actually, while I sat there in the doctor's office, I was thinking, I just want to know what condition my condition is in. And I said to the doctor, look, you're a nice guy, but I'm out of here. And I went off to figure out what condition my condition was in. It took me a couple years, but I got well. I found natural foods, or continued. I'd started to learn about brown rice and salads and fish, and went down to Martha's Vineyard and made that my diet for several months and got well. At that point, nutrition had become the #1 priority in my life. So, any follow-up on that?
Is it still your #1 interest?
Well, that's really tough. 4 years later, is nutrition still the #1 interest in my life was the question. I'm not sure if you could hear it or not. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that every morning when I get up, the most important thing is that I have a secure food supply that day. I like to say I'm only as good as my last meal. So I make sure that I've got exactly the food that I want day in, day out, month in, month out, without exception. In that sense, it's most important. But it's not most important anymore in the sense that I see nutrition as a means to an end, and the real purpose of great nutrition is to prepare you to do whatever else you want to do in your life. So I think less about nutrition now and more about some of the other things I might like to do. 30 years, I said, practicing is a long time, and I'm doing some other things now that actually take precedence over nutrition as long as I've got my food organized for that day. Okay, next question. Why videos instead of just posting information for people to read? Well, I wanted to make this as much like an office visit as I could, as if you came to my office to be a patient and me to learn about you. I can't do that through a video, but to get information firsthand. So it seemed to me that videos would be much more effective than posting blog posts. I've written too, there are lots of blog posts, but we thought that the videos would be a nice add-on to that. Next question. There are several videos. How are they organized? We have a video for each decade, starting with the 50s. And in a sense, those are the decades of my life, and they're also the decades nutritionally. So I'll talk about what happened nutritionally for me and how it related to various medical issues that I might have been dealing with in those times. and in the context of the zeitgeist of the time, whatever was going on nutritionally in the 50s and then the 60s and the 70s, we'll try to address that a little bit and hopefully make it a kind of an interesting journey, nutritional journey through the years. I think the decades approach may be useful in that I went through all kinds of stages with my own diet, more or less vegetarian, almost vegan, some years, decades, and to other extremes. And as I talk about them, it'll kind of review a lot of things nutritionally that will be, I think, relevant to what's going on now, perhaps for many of you. Okay, next question. Could you tell us what the videos, have in common and your general philosophy of nutrition? Well, in a nutshell, they have in common the questioning, the quest to learn about nutrition that I was going through all those years. And they also have in common my discovery of Weston Price's principles rather early on and how I applied them and interpreted them and changed certain things under their influence. And my general philosophy really is simply that nutrition is absolutely critical in terms of, it's the whole story in terms of maintaining health. There are other influences, but without strong nutrition, you don't have a chance. And without a real understanding of the principles that I've come to understand from my study of anthropology and other cultures and nutritional history, understanding those principles, the importance of animal food in human nutrition, we need that as an absolute basis, and that permeates all of the videos. Okay, one last question. Do you really live and work on the farm that shows in the videos and in your catalogs? Yes, we do. Dr. Ron's offices, the UltraPure offices are on the farm in our barn over there. We remodeled the barn and created lots of spaces to do our work. Our animals are here, and we're here. If you have questions, we welcome them. That's what the blog is for. What I don't want to do with the blog is have a debate about what constitutes good nutrition. I'm very curious about how you might have applied the things that I talk about and my ideas. And I'd be glad to respond to your questions about your own program and about the supplements that you think might be most helpful for you. But as far as getting into debates about you know, is this good, is that good? We really don't want to do that. I think there are other forums for that. But we do welcome your questions about your own nutrition and our products.